Puja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Yashodanandana Rajanaranja Yashodanandana Rajanaranja Yamuna Tirvanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Puja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Puja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Puja Vihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Radha Madan Gopal Radha Madan Gopal Radha Madan Gopal Shri Radhe Jai Jagannath Jaya Jagannath Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Patita Pavana Jaya Giri Govardhan Jaya Giri Govardhan Giri Govardhan Jaya Giri Govardhan Giri Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Srila Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Srila Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Srila Prabhupada Hari Om Hari Om श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की पतित पावन हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की समस्त गौर भक्त वृंद की यथा गौर प्रेमानंद की ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्ति भवति नैष्ठिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 4, entitled The Appearance of Sri Narada, text number 1. Vyasavacha iti bruvāṇam samstūya Muninam Dirvasattvanam Riddhah Kulapatih Sutam Bahurichah Shaunako Brave Vyasavacha Tirvanam Samstuya Muninam Dirghasatrinam Vriddha Kulapati Sutam Bahuricha Saunako Brave Vyasavacha Iti Brvanam Samstuya Muninam Dirghasatrinam Vriddha Kulapati Sutam Baharichah Saunako Brave Please recite. Vyasavacha Ilirvanam Samsuya Muninam Dirghasatrinam Vriddha Kulapati Vyasavacha Tirvanam Samstuya
Vriddha Kulapati Sutam
Muninam Word meaning, translation and purport by His Divine Grace, our Charna Arvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Vyasah Vyasdev Uvacha Se Iti Thus Brahmana speaking Samstuya congratulating Munina of the great sages Dirgha prolonged Satrina of those engaged in the performance of sacrifice Riddha elderly Kulapati head of the assembly Sutam unto Suta Goswami Bahurichaha learned Saunakaha of the name Saunaka Abravi addressed. Vyasdev said, on hearing Suta Goswami speak thus, Saunak Muni, who was the elderly, learned leader of all the rishis engaged in that prolonged sacrificial ceremony, congratulated Suta Goswami by addressing him as follows. Purport. In a meeting of learned men, when there are congratulations or addresses for the speaker, the qualifications of the congratulator should be as follows. He must be the leader of the house and an elderly man. He must be vastly learned also. Sri Saunaka Rishi had all these qualifications, and thus he stood up to congratulate Sri Suta Goswami when he expressed his desire to present Srimad Bhagavatam exactly as he heard it from Sukadeva Goswami and also realized it personally. Personal realization does not mean that one should, out of vanity, attempt to show one's own learning by trying to surpass the previous acharya. He must have full confidence in the previous acharya, and at the same time, he must realize the subject matter so nicely that he can present the matter for the particular circumstances in a suitable manner. The original purpose of the text must be maintained. No obscure meaning should be screwed out of it, yet it should be presented in an interesting manner for the understanding of the audience. This is called realization. The leader of the assembly, Sonaka, could estimate the value of the speaker, Sri Shuta Goswami, simply by his uttering Yathaditam and Yathamati, and therefore he was very glad to congratulate him in ecstasy. No learned man should be willing to hear a person who does not represent the original Acharya. So the speaker and the audience were bona fide in this meeting where Bhagavatam was being recited for the second time. That should be the standard of recitation of Bhagavatam so that real purpose can be served without difficulty. Unless this situation is created, Bhagavatam recitation for extraneous purposes is useless labor both for the speaker and for the audience. Srila Prabhupada ki ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाशास्त्रिशतारिणे नमो मादन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनाम्ने गौरतुसे नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरि वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरे नीलाचलनिवासाय नित्यमात्मने बलभद्र सुभद्राभ्यां जगन्नाथाय ते नमः वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे Hare Krishna. I seek the blessings of all the Vaishnava devotees who have assembled here for the morning Bhagavatam class so that I can speak something on this verse for my self purification and the service. Hare Krishna. So, this verse, for the first time, Vyasdev is introducing himself as author. Vyasovacha. He writes, he is himself writing Vyasovacha. He's so humble, he is not putting any title. Author Vacha, writer Vacha, Lekhak Vacha, compiler of the Vedas, literary incarnation Vacha. And his story is now going to unfold. How Vyasdev got Bhagavatam from Narad Muni. Iti Bruhanam Samstuyam Uninam Dirgha Satyanam. Dirgha Satyanam. For a long time, the sages assembled in Namisaranya for doing sacrifice. Why did they want to do the sacrifice? Which type of sacrifice? They earlier thought they will do fire sacrifice. Dirgha Satyanam for a long time, but uh, they found that more meaningful than doing fire sacrifice is the sacrifice of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. So Srimad Bhagavad Gita also says that hearing is also a yajna, where yajna kunda is the ear holes, and the message that enters that is like fire. It enters the heart and purifies the listener, speaker, and the other audience who was present there. Just like yajna is done for everybody's benefit. Shravan yajna. So they decided now they will do Shravan yajna. So they had to select someone who can speak this beautiful message of Srimad Bhagavatam. And Suta Goswami was appointed. Prabhupada explains the qualifications of Suta Goswami. Yathadhitam yathamati. As per understanding and my realization, I will speak Srimad Bhagavatam. That's how Suta Goswami says this in the beginning of second chapter. That is, Prabhupada is highlighting Sonak Adi Rishis and their leader is Sonak Rishi. He appreciates these two words uttered by Suta Goswami. As far as my understanding and my realization, I will share what I heard. So the Prabhupada is now explaining that part. Vyasdev is introducing, actually in the coming 13, 14 verses, Suta Goswami is going to be glorified by Sonak Adi Rishis, led by Sonak Rishi. So Vyasdev is telling who is Sonak Rishi. So he says Kulapati and Vriddha. His Vriddha Kulapati. Vriddha Kulapati also Bahava Richa. Three things he says. Bahava Richa means vastly learned. Kulapati means their leader. Vriddha means elderly. The word Vriddha comes from the word Vriddhi, that which is increasing or increases. So person who is Vriddha is supposed to have something in increased quantity. It can be Vayo Vriddha, it can be Jnana Vriddha, anything. So there are many types of Vriddha, Jnana Vriddha, Vayo Vriddha. Then Dhana Vriddha, someone is very rich. Or in our day-to-day dealings, one should offer respects to another based on how Vriddha someone is. If someone is very knowledgeable, even if he is young and very small child like Prahlad Maharaj, one should respect. And if someone is elderly because of age, one should respect. Someone is elderly because of post position, one should respect. That means if we see pastimes of Narad Muni visiting Ravan, Hiranyakashipu, Kamsa also, they were demoniac kings, but because they were kings by posts, externally it appeared Narad Muni is also very respectful. Vriddha is therefore to be respected. In Yaksha Prashna, it is asked there by Yaksha to Yudhishthir Maharaj how a person becomes intelligent. There he says by doing Vriddha Seva. When someone serves Vriddha, he becomes intelligent. So Vriddha Kulapati. So he is Vriddha not just by age. Sonak Rishi comes in the line of Bhrigu, is in the same dynasty of the Bhrigu dynasty, and himself is very uh, learned and contributed a lot in compiling and propagating Vedas, Rig Veda, Atharvaveda especially, and he holds a special position. So Prabhupada explains in the purport that in the circle of learned as people, the person who is glorified and the person who is glorifying, they both should be they both should be glorious. The person who is speaking, he should also be qualified. His qualification is three things Prabhupada writes here. His glorification is his glory is that he is not someone who speaks against the acharyas, or exactly Prabhupada uses the word surpass the acharyas presentation. Someone told Srila Prabhupada, you sing or probably you wrote much more beautiful than Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Prabhupada became very emotional. He got tears in his eyes. What are you telling? You know, Thakur's writings, they are transcendental. They are not from this world, divine. Prabhupada, through his personal life, showed that how he is not surpassing acharyas. Because acharyas are representatives of Supreme Personality of Godhead. In 10th canto, Lord Krishna, when he met Sudama Mrivipra, he was speaking to him about the importance of Acharya, the spiritual master. Because both of them spent time together under spiritual master Sandipni Muni, Krishna was talking with Sudama regarding this. That do you remember how we stayed together under the instruction of Sandipni Muni, our spiritual master? How he engaged us in different services? Hmm. I think 10.8.32 two verses are very important. Yeah. This is 10.8.32. Krishna says to Sudama, Savai Vatsatkarmanam Sakshat Dvijatir Iha Sambhavaha Adhyonga Yatrasramina Yathaham Jnanado Guruhu. He says three personalities are to be respected as spiritual master. First is Adhyonga, one who gives the birth, Adya Guru, basically. Then Dvija Guru, the one who gives the Brahman initiation and initiates him in the Varna Ashram. And then he says, but the ultimate one is Jnanada Guru or Jnanada Guru, Jnana Guru, one who gives spiritual knowledge for transcendental upliftment. So, who are these three gurus? One is father who gives birth, another is the spiritual master who gives initiation, but here it says there is another spiritual master, the ultimate spiritual master, who helps. So exact translation is Krishna is telling, my dear friend, he who gives a person his physical birth is his first spiritual master. And he who initiates him as twice born Brahmana and engages him in religious duties is indeed more directly his spiritual master. Then he says, but the person who bestows transcendental knowledge, jnana dadati iti the one who gives jnana, who is that? So the person who bestows transcendental knowledge upon the members of all the spiritual orders of society is one's ultimate spiritual master. Indeed, he is as good as my own self. So he says, so who is this personality for us? I understand that this is none other than Srila Prabhupada. He is the ultimate spiritual master for all of us. And then Krishna goes on about this quality, who is that Acharya. He says, Anvartako vida brahman varnashramavataviha ye maya guruna vacha tarantyagyo bhavarnavam taranti agyo bhavarnavam. So this spiritual master helps him crossing the Bhava Samudra, Bhavarnava. Taranti, he helps in crossing the Bhavarnava. So translation is, certainly, O Brahmana, of all the followers of Varnashrama system, those who take advantage of the words I speak in my form as the spiritual master and thus easily cross over the ocean of material existence, best understand their own true welfare. That means when we follow Srila Prabhupada's teachings, we are following Krishna's words. What Prabhupada spoke should be accepted as, in principle, non-different from Krishna's guidance. But Krishna says, in my form as the ultimate spiritual master, I give this help to the people who understand their best benefit. And by utilizing this gift, they cross this bhavarnava. And this is more interesting, the next verse. Naham nichya prajatibhyam tapasopasamena va tusyayam sarvabhutatma guru sushrusaya yatha. He says, I, the soul of all beings, am not as satisfied by ritual worship, Brahminical initiation, penances, or self discipline as I am by faithful service rendered to one's spiritual master. So he says, the small purport, the word Prajati here indicates either begetting good children or the second birth obtained by ritual initiation into Vedic culture. Although both of these are praiseworthy, Lord Krishna here states that faithful service rendered to a bona fide spiritual master is still higher. So Krishna speaks these three verses in glorification of the spiritual master and how that spiritual master is non-different from it's one of the form of Krishna and his words to be taken very seriously. And not only that, someone who dedicates himself in the service, faithful service of such a spiritual master, Krishna says that I am most pleased by such a person. Therefore, we are very blessed in our life. We have such personalities, especially Srila Prabhupada and his teachings. If it appears to be very easy, Krishna consciousness, someone said, Prabhupada said, or I heard this, all of us have heard, simple but not easy. Krishna consciousness is simple. But in Kali Yuga, simple things have become very difficult. One devotee was sharing that Sunday class happens and after that lunch prasad is given. So those who basically want to be a part of Sunday program, they don't have to bother for food in their home, cooking and bothering what to bring. They can just have breakfast and come in the temple, spend the day, have lunch, and by 2:30, 3 o'clock they can return back and become very spiritually nourished. But in spite of all these facilities, they fail to come, and this is an unfortunate situation because coming to temple and not cooking in home is a simple life. They don't like it. They want a difficult life. They don't want to come to temple and do hard work and then forget about connecting with God and all. They want God only to come to their doors. If devotees go to their homes for giving sessions, classes, many people may come. But if they are asked to come to temple, they will create so many excuses. This is the difficulty, that is the difficulty. So this is the unfortunate situation in Kali Yuga. Simple things have become very difficult. Like in one of the sessions, one senior devotee here in our Bhagavatam class spoke that all one needs to stay safe is that he doesn't have to do anything. Because to commit sinful activity and offenses, one has to do a lot of hard work. But people choose that hard work over the simple surrender to Krishna. So this instructions of the spiritual master appear very simple, like Sandipni Muni simply said, go and fetch firewood, but that was tested. The storm comes there and it was kind of flood, but both Sudama and Krishna, they were so dedicated. Krishna is teaching for all of us. So both of them, they got the firewood. They did not let the firewood flow with the water. They were catching that firewood very strongly. They stayed with each other and then shared the whatever little bit food they had with each other. Spent the night in the jungle, and in the early morning, Sandipni Muni comes with his other disciples, and with his tears he embraces Krishna and Sudama, telling that how the body of the living entity is so dear to them. but you did not care for your body just for the pleasure of my service, just for my pleasure, and you did the service with your heart. So this type of dedication, Krishna says, I like it more than direct worship of myself or any type of other types of tapasya. So very simple instructions we all get in our life from our seniors. We get it from our spiritual masters. We get it from Srila Prabhupada. And as much as we faithfully dedicate in following those instructions, that much Krishna is pleased. Like we hear the pastime of Dhaumya Rishi's disciple Upamanyu, who would secretly eat and spend secretly. He will go for begging, and some of the portion of the collected meal he will keep it for himself, and that he will honor. So Upamanyu was chastised. Not chastised, he was corrected by Dhaumya Rishi that you should not eat without my permission. Still, he was drinking milk, direct cow milk he was drinking, and he was becoming again healthy. It was observed by Dharma Rishi. Again, he said, you should not take without my permission. And the third time he was outside, he was feeling hungry. He thought that I should not eat from the alms that I have baked. I should not drink the milk that we get from the cow. Let me take some fruit from the tree and eat. I am very hungry. And it was some poisonous fruit. Eats that. He goes blind, falls into a ditch, suffers badly. But he had learned some mantras. He invoked the presence of Ashwini Kumar by chanting the mantras. Ashwini Kumar come and they gave him some medicine. And that time he is completely convinced that I should follow the instruction of my guru and I will not eat without his permission. And Ashwini Kumar is bewildered because demigods, if they are called, they have to give the benefit or gift for which they have been called. If that is not accepted, their business is unfinished. So they are also not living. Upamanyu is not eating. The news goes to Dhaumya Rishi. He comes there and is very pleased to see the surrender of Upamanyu. And he says, I give you my permission, please take the medicine. And then Upamanyu takes the medicine, he gets his vision back, and Dhaumya Rishi is very pleased. So Krishna says in therefore Krishna says, someone who is faithfully rendering service to the ultimate spiritual master, Acharya. So we have Srila Prabhupada with us. So in this section, Prabhupada is explaining that when someone is realized, that does not mean he can surpass the previous Acharya. So for us, we should not we should be very careful in our presentation that like one time a devotee corrected one whilst giving the class, too many quotes of some different types of acharyas were being presented, and without proper qualification. So such corrections are very healthy. So Prabhupada writes that one should not surpass the previous acharya. And not only that, Prabhupada writes he should have full confidence in the previous acharya. That means when we give Prabhupada examples or refer to Prabhupada books for preaching, we should be fully confident that it will work. We should not try to find some second or third or fourth other references just to make our sessions very funny. Prabhupada books are enough. Many times we glorify great speakers like His Grace Radha Shyam and many Maharajas. But when we read Prabhupada books nicely, we realize all their speech are based on Prabhupada books. There is nothing external. Every statement they have some connection with Srila Prabhupada. So Prabhupada therefore writes he one should have full confidence in the previous Acharya. And then he says, so Sutta Goswami reflected all these qualities. He did not surpass the previous Acharya. He has full confidence in the previous Acharya, but he basically Sukdev Goswami. And third, he has realized the subject matter so nicely that he can present it according to the present Deskal Patras. Like Srila Prabhupada gave examples, which like Mukut, Prabhupada said helmet, golden helmet. Before that, people had idea helmet means something one has to wear while driving, or the ballistic helmets they wear during battles. Prabhupada says the Vishnu Dutas, when they appeared to protect, they were having golden helmets. Now Vaikuntha's description is coming in third canto. How Narayan is having a golden helmet. Prabhupada uses this word. So this is a qualification of a realized soul. He can present without surpassing the previous acharya, losing confidence in the previous acharya, and presenting as per in the language that the modern society can connect. They can understand it well. Car and driver analogy. How the car is like the body, driver is like the soul. So Prabhupada explains all these things for the benefit of modern civilization. And it says here, Prabhupada is writing, uh, the original purpose, I don't know, it is, if someone has hard copy, one can check in the Vedas, it is in italics. That means in the entire paragraph, this is an important statement. That's what the compiler means to. He has written this in italics. He says the original purpose of the text must be maintained. Hmm. In one example, I heard someone was giving presentation for 2 year, 3 year to some group of old people, Ram Katha, and he was asked how many people are chanting there. He said all are chanting. How many rounds? Some chants have 1 round or 2 round maximum. And what class you take? Rama and Ram Katha. They don't chant more than 1 round. They are all old people. Okay, at least they give some donation. Donation, not much, little bit they give. So what preaching is happening? No, one senior devotee was telling congregation or what is a healthy temple is that every member in the temple, especially congregation or those who are preaching, they should identify with one preacher in the temple, with one brahmachari devotee. We have many other connection, but he should admit that okay, this devotee comes this class. Then he says he should have he or she should have some service, dedicated service that he is rendering in the temple. And the third, he should also contribute something financially. These three things make the congregation very healthy. If these three things are the property of every people connected to the temple, that temple has a very ideal temple, very healthy community. So the original purpose of the text must be maintained. Means when we are presenting, therefore, we should not try to present some other purpose. We are like generally in sometimes in our talks, in lighter moments, some devotee may say as if he is the devotee of Srimati Radharani. Someone may say I am the devotee of Krishna. So then one senior devotee will say, no, we are followers of Gaudiya Vaishnava Parampara. We are all Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's followers. Hari Bol. And then everybody has to surrender. Because, yes, we belong to Brahma Madhav Gaudiya Sampradaya. And that is Gaudiya. We are followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We should not surpass Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Like, that was the mistake. Someone, I think, Vallavacharya. Vallabhacharya. He came with his Bhagavatam purpose, surpassing Sridhar Swami's commentary. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so upset. In fact, he was so upset, he spoke very heavily that anybody who disregard the commentary of Sridhar Swami is like a prostitute. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so angry on him. So one should not surpass previous Acharya's commentary. In fact, he was very upset with Gadadhar Pandit. Gadadhar Pandit is having a soft nature. He listens from Vallabhacharya also. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was upset. Why did you hear him? So therefore he would keep filtering process. Saru Damodar Prabhu and Rai Ramanand. That no, not anyone can come and start presenting their compilations to me. So therefore we should understand. Not surpassing previous Acharya, it can automatically happen when there is full confidence in the previous Acharya. Otherwise, it cannot happen. So, this quality of Suta Goswami is identified by the leader of the group, so Sonak Adiris. No obscure meaning should be screwed out of it. That means meaning should also be protected. One should not create ulterior meaning just to satisfy one's own purpose. Just like people sometimes, politicians also will quote Bhagavad Gita, that Pandita Samadarshina. They will quote this verse. How does it start? Vidya Vinay Sampane Brahmane Gavi Astini Sunichara Swapakecha Pandita Samadarshana. The Pandita treats a cow, elephant, Brahmana, and a dog equally, and therefore we are most secular like that. But they are simply using this for their political agenda. They have no connection with the actual purpose. Krishna says that equal vision doesn't mean equal treatment. Like a mother cannot treat the baby, newborn baby, and the husband equally. It will create problem. How can someone treat the newborn baby and the husband equally? It is not possible. But different treatment can reflect equal love or equal vision. So Pandita Samadarshina doesn't mean Sama Vyavhar or literally is equal activity. One has to give respect according to his qualification. Like Sonak Rishi is not glorifying Sutta Goswami because he is the ordinary person. He is glorifying because he has qualification. The leader of the assembly, Sonak, could estimate the value of speaker. The leader of the assembly, Sonaka, could estimate the value of the speaker, Sri Sutta Goswami, simply by his uttering Yathadhita and Yathamati. Therefore, he was very glad to congratulate him in ecstasy. That means respect is not artificial. First, he should really have that appreciation in heart. Otherwise, one may only find giving respect or glorification as a very mechanical procedure activity. In the mic, one may respect, but without the mic, one may disrespect. So, this is hypocrisy, and Sonak Rishi is genuinely appreciating Sutta Goswami. And Prabhupada also says, as we read in the previous first part of the paragraph, the one who glorifies should also be a senior personality. Therefore, we find when Parikshit Maharaj was traveling to various places in his kingdom, whichever place he went, the leader of that place will glorify Parikshit Maharaj, and their glorification will have a pattern. And the pattern would be Parikshit Maharaj's connection with Lord Krishna and his connection with the Pandavas. So this is the art of glorification. Like Sonak Rishi is glorifying or seeing the glory of Sutta Goswami in connection with Sukdev Goswami. Sutta Goswami in his presentation of Sutta Goswami when he was presenting Sukdev Goswami, he was glorifying Sukdev Goswami in connection with Vyasdev. And now Vyasdev is going to be glorified in connection with Narad Muni. So this type of glorification is the standard, that what is his connection with his superior and how he has upheld the principles that he has learned from his superiors. So that's what is written here. So Sonak Rishi could estimate the value of the speaker Sutta Goswami simply by his uttering Yathadhitam Yathamati, and therefore he was glad and congratulated him in ecstasy. No learned man should be willing to hear a person who does not represent the original Acharya. So we should not take much interest in lot of stuffs that are being spoken, but which has not much connection with Srila Prabhupada's teaching. So the speaker and the audience were bona fide in this meeting, where Bhagavatam was being recited for the second time. That should be the standard of recitation of Bhagavatam, so that real purpose can be served without difficulty. Unless this situation is created, Bhagavatam recitation for extraneous purposes is useless labor, both for the speaker and for the audience. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Granthraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki, Jai Gaur Premanande.